Hello, this is Darren DePaul, the voice of Emperor Valkorion, and you're watching another video by Vulkk.
Greetings. In this fine, for me at least, Sunday morning, I'm sitting down, starting to record this weekly's Roundup show. We've got quite a few big news, but not so much a week full of events. Let's start by the biggest one by far. Mass Effect Andromeda Early Access trial has begun, and it actually began a little bit earlier than intended. It was officially announced to begin on 16th March, but most of us, not all, for whatever reason, had a chance to start downloading and playing, if we were quick with the download, a few hours earlier on 15th March. And yes, the trial was for 10 hours. I've exhausted all 10 hours. I've created 5 or 6 videos so far, 2 of them normal videos, the rest live streams, and I'll show you and talk about them in the end of this video in a little bit more detail to present them to you, which one of these videos does what and why you should watch them if you haven't done so yet. The official release for Europe is 23rd of March, which is the end of next week, and the North America release, if I remember correctly, is 2 days earlier, 21st of March, or some people tell me 28th. I don't know, probably because of time difference and because they live in Australia, for example. Bad people trying to manipulate me. Okay, moving on to the next topic, we've got the Gwent positioning patch details revealed during a CD Projekt Red developer live stream. This took place on Tuesday evening for me again, and the two usual hosts from CD Projekt Red talked about some of the biggest changes. There are a lot of cards, just like before. This is still closed beta, and just like before, we've got a ton of cards changing, abilities, descriptions, and all these other kinds of things changing. Just base strength of the cards of many of the units is being changed, as well as the abilities of many of these units. But the biggest change is that positional tactics and mechanics have been introduced into the game and integrated into as many cards as possible from the existing pool of cards. With this big upcoming update, which still doesn't have an official date, we will not receive new cards, but instead the developers want us to get used to the new positioning mechanic, because now it will have a huge impact. Where do we want to position that card? In the middle, between those two, between the other two, sitting alone on a row. These things will have so much bigger impact. And I don't know how exactly this fits into the next topic, the Gwent Challenger Tournament, which has been announced, and everybody is allowed to sign up, but obviously very small amount of people will be picked up for the qualifying stage. The reward, as you can see from the title, is $100,000. As far as I remember, this is the very first real and official Gwent card tournament. It has been created and organized by CD Projekt Red, who partnered up with ESL. That's why we've got such a big reward. And from this text here, we can see that some professional players, Gwent players, and not so much known in the Gwent community, Gwent players, will be participating in this, and they will be playing against the top players from our own community. I'm part of the community. I'm definitely not the best player, but you know who they are, the biggest live streamers, the biggest YouTube content creators. And it will be really interesting to see who prevails. Moving on to another big topic that is again another big game. This one, Shadow of War, received the first trailer, first gameplay video, first developer live stream, and an official release date. All of this in a span of, I think, a few days. I've published that yesterday on 18th of March because I've decided yesterday to start a new category, a new news category on my website. You might have noticed that I've included this small link here, because on the homepage you will see categories for SWTOR, Gwent, and Mass Effect. At the moment, SWTOR and Gwent will pretty much stay here indefinitely, but the third column here on the main page will be changing. Now it's Mass Effect. A few months later, it will very likely be changed to the Shadow of War category. Maybe after that, it will go to Star Citizen or another very important to me and hopefully to you game as well. Now back on topic, the Shadow of War is a second game from Monolith about Middle-earth. The first one, if you don't know, was released in 2014, and it was called Middle-earth Shadow of... Whoops, excuse me. It was called Shadow of Mordor. Shadow of War is a direct continuation. It begins right where Shadow of Mordor stopped, and because of that, I also have a few videos to show you and remind you of Shadow of Mordor, or introduce you to Shadow of Mordor if you've never played it before. I'm a Tolkien junkie, not as much as I'm a Star Wars junkie, but I still love the Tolkien universe, and I've read absolutely all of his books in both English and Bulgarian, well, mostly because some of the books did not get a Bulgarian translation immediately, but that's a completely different topic. Some of the newer books, I mean, released by Christopher Tolkien. In terms of Star Wars The Old Republic news, why am I leaving my main game for last in the news section? Well, because this is the only news post, and it wasn't really that important, that big. The game update 5.1.3 was released this Tuesday on 15th, I want to say, or 16th of March. I can't remember which day it was. But the patch notes were really insignificant, and that is why, if you're wondering, I didn't release, it's not linked here either, overview video. There are so few patch notes and so few changes. Most of them are actually bug fixes or very small, tiny cartel market quality of life changes and things like that, that I personally don't think they were worth creating an overview video for the patch notes. This is a big update, and 5.1.1, 5.1.2 were big, but 5.1.3 did not bring any changes to the dreaded RNG crap gearing system, which means that they are finally happy, Bioware are finally happy with the stage this system is in, and they're not happy with its current stage, but for 5.2, they've already announced how many things are going to change and how they're going to change. And I have to say that I'm happy about that as well. Operations, if you don't know, if you don't follow all of these news, well, you should check some of my other videos. But the 5.2 update brings back static 100% drop loot from each one operation boss. In terms of video, there are only 2 videos that made it to Vulkk.com this week, because as you know, I do not upload all videos on YouTube, and I do not share all of my videos on both places. There are some videos that are strictly for my website, other videos are strictly for YouTube, and some videos obviously appear in both places. This is just to save time, save space, make some sense, make some logic, in my head at least, and to provoke you to check both places regularly, obviously. This is not a less important reason. So these 2 videos are, as you can see, both about Mass Effect. The first one was character customization. Even though the default first 9 available heads or character customization options are really ugly and limited, after that you have a chance with a lot of tools to tweak those faces and make them more appealing to your personal taste. With the second video, which is quite a long one, I did my best to show you my first impression, tests, analysis, and general overview of all of the video settings that the game has to offer, how I managed to run the game, what FPS I draw out of it, which settings were drawing the FPS back and down and up, and things like that. There will be very likely another video like that after the game is officially released, after the first patch that is expected to fix a ton of things, and most of all, after the official NVIDIA Game Ready released official drivers for Mass Effect Andromeda. In terms of other videos that are only on my channel, as you can see, this week, and the previous one, by the way, has been full of live streams. I do not regularly live stream every day, or I don't even stream every other day in this hour. I live stream when I have something to show, when I want something to show, and when I'm in a good mood. This week happened to be such a week that I had available some time. I've enjoyed live streaming primarily Shadow of Mordor and Mass Effect, and if you've missed any of these videos, you should definitely check them out, because without spoiling too much from the very beginning of the game, and even if you get spoiled with the beginning of Mass Effect, these are just minor spoilers, as in how did I become the Pathfinder and where do we start Mass Effect, which is the very first planet we visit. These are minor spoilers, but while watching or listening to the video while you do other things on your PC, for example, or you can watch and listen that in the style of podcast, for example. I'm telling you everything I've learned about the game, mechanics, tricks, new controls, new new innovations, new features, how the game behaves, and all these things are just implemented into the videos with live commentary. I hope you have enjoyed them, or if you haven't yet, you will enjoy them. With that, I think it's time to wrap up the video because I have some more Shadow of Mordor to play and live stream later tonight or tomorrow. Thank you guys. See you next time.